It is absolutely imperative that we work with the Costa Rican Department of Biological Preserves to establish a set of rules for the preservation and isolation of that island. These creatures require our absence to survive, not our help. And if we could only step aside and trust in nature, life will find a way.
Well, looks like somebody didn't listen to John Hammond's words of advice. If these characters had just listened to John Hammond's words of advice, none of this would have happened. So anyway, today people, I am taking a look at the first Jurassic World movie. It's the case of back in the day, I used to quite enjoy this movie and whatnot, but of course, as the years went by, I started having more mixed feelings on it, especially after the disasters that were Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. So let me take a great look at, should I say, Jurassic World and whatnot. So of course, after, Jurassic Park 3 came out, it was still a box office success and whatnot, but it is currently the lowest grossing Jurassic Park movie and everything. And there was the idea of trying to make a Jurassic Park 4, but unfortunately, Jurassic Park 4 got stuck in development hell for quite some time. Spielberg was originally gonna direct it, but eventually quit the project and whatnot. The whole idea of Jurassic Park 4 was originally gonna be about human-dinosaur hybrids in the military and everything. Thank God that never happened, and I'm so glad it didn't. Even though the Jurassic World movies would get some ideas from that unmade sequel, which was just completely stupid and everything. So anyway, after all those years of development hell, Jurassic World was eventually Colin Trevorrow showed up and went to write and direct Jurassic World. Jurassic World, should I say, was released in 2015. It got decent reviews and was a huge box office success, earning about $1.6 billion worldwide. And of course, yeah, back in the day, I was one of those people who liked it as mentioned earlier, but as the years went by, I started to dislike it and whatnot. So, what's the plot all about for this movie? Well, the movie takes place just 22 years after the events of the first Jurassic Park movie, in where Jurassic World has opened on Isla Nublar and whatnot. Things are going well and everything until one of the dinosaurs escapes and wreaks havoc on the island and whatnot. And so it is now up to our heroes to race against the clock to save the day. So yeah, let me start off with what I enjoyed about the movie versus what I dislike about it. I will admit, the musical score is actually pretty good for what it is. Sure, John Williams didn't come back to do the score and whatnot. It was instead done by this new guy by the name of... Hold on a second, I really want to find out what his name is. Oh, now I remember his name. His name is Michael Giacchino. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name. But he does an amazing job on the film score. Which is funny considering that he did the musical score for the Jurassic Park 2 video game on PlayStation 1. I will admit his score is fantastic. The direction from Colin Trevorrow is... alright and everything. I can't really complain. And I will say, out of all the Jurassic World films, this is easily the best written of all of them, surprisingly. And I did like Chris Pratt's Owen and whatnot, and I thought that he was a pretty likable character and everything. The action set pieces were amazing and whatnot. I did love that scene of Chris Pratt being on the motorbike and all that stuff, because, you know, it was in the Lost World novel and everything. And I also do like that idea of what if the theme park was opened and what if it was successful and everything. Although I will talk more about that in the negatives and everything. And of course, should I say, Claire gives a good Brace Elias Howard gives a great performance, as should I say, Claire and whatnot. And the final fight between, should I say, between Rexy and the Indominus Rex was easily the highlight of the film and whatnot. And of course, should I say, Blue was a nice new addition to the Jurassic Park cast and everything. And I felt that Blue was actually a pretty decent dino character by herself. But unfortunately, that's where my positives end for the movie, and I have so many negatives I'd like to talk about for this movie. Like, for starters, you remember that part in where I mentioned, should I say, the park finally being opened and everything? Yeah, it's as if these people did not learn from Hammond's words of advice and everything. The last time they tried to open the park, things went haywire and whatnot, and I just find that whole idea of, should I say, turning it into a SeaWorld theme park. The characters in this movie made some of the most unbelievably stupid mistakes you can ever imagine. I mean, seriously. They just, they can't see the dinosaur and everything because it's invisible. They just go in there. I mean, Owen literally just goes in there to check whether it's there or not, and lo and behold, it's a fooled you moment. And of course, the Indominus Rex literally escapes from its pen. So, the events of this movie are pretty much his fault and whatnot. And of course, let us talk about the Indominus Rex itself. While I do find it to be a nice hybrid and all, it only uses that camouflage ability like once or twice in the movie and never uses it again. There is a scene in where, should I say, the military are pointing guns at, should I say, the Indominus Rex, and they don't even pull the triggers and whatnot. And don't even get me started on that plot point of them wanting to use dinos for the military, and I'm like, these are wild animals, for God's sake. How are they gonna follow any orders? They are not, should I say, troopers and everything. I will talk more about that stupid arse plot in my upcoming rant of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And another thing is, the two kids in this movie just felt like poor, like ghetto versions of Lex and Tim from the first Jurassic Park movie. And they do this tired as hell plot that you saw in old family movies from back in the 90s and 2000s, and where, the relative who is spending too much time at work has to spend time with their family and they're treated as the villains. And sadly, this movie also has a mean-spirited tone on top of that. Like, the babysitter gets this over-the-top and mean-spirited death in where she's grabbed by different pteranodons and whatnot before eventually being devoured by that megalodon and everything. I'm like, wow. And people called Peter Ludlow's death undeserved in Jurassic Park 2. What the hell do you call this? And of course, should I say, the movie relies way too much on nostalgia. It rehashes so much of the original film that it might as well have just been a remake and whatnot. Those are really my gripes with the film and everything. And another thing about, we're back to the Indominus Rex again, is that it's part raptor and can communicate with raptors. How does that work? I'm not one to talk about a movie for having scientific inaccuracies and whatnot, but have consistency. Just because an animal is part something doesn't mean it understands the language of that other animal. That's not how things work. So anyway, that was my review of, should I say, Jurassic World, a film I used to like, but I sadly have mixed feelings on it. And sadly, from this point on, it's all downhill from there and whatnot. So if you're wondering how I'm gonna rate this movie, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. What do you guys think of Jurassic World? Let me know in the comment section down below, and thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content. Shadow Leon 659 signing out. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention about this movie. Despite this movie being made on like a $215 million budget, it looks like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. I'm like, seriously. This was made in the year 2015, yet it has somehow got even worse effects than the original 3 movies. How is that even possible? How?